Welcome back to the YouTube channel, everybody, subscribers and new viewers alike. Today I wanted to show you our hay field. This hay field is getting its first cutting, and you will be amazed at how tall this hay is. Today, my husband and my son are out on the old John Deere 2-cylinder tractor. We're using a John Deere 730 diesel. And our hay tedder. This hay tedder has saved us the last 2 years. Our hay gets so tall so fast that it just kicks it right out. We were doing it, just cutting it. This hay field was cut with a swather, and it just lays it out in a straight blanket. So when it comes out of the hay swather, it's in these rows, and it's just about the same with the John Deere sickle bar mower. So if we use the hay bine, it comes out in these rows also. To dry it faster, the tedder flings it all out the back into this nice blanket over the whole field, and it dries up to 2 days faster. Shortening the drying time also prolongs the life of the hay's nutritional value. It's not bleaching out in the sun for an extra 2 days or 3 days out here in the field. So in this hay field we have grass, and you can see it's already gone to seed, or it's going to seed. We have seed heads on it, so there's a lot of extra carbohydrates for our livestock with that. We have alfalfa. That alfalfa has little purple flowers on it there, and that is also pollen for my bees. And we have clover. We have white clover and red clover. Bethany has pollen for the bees with her flowers that she picked. So here's our hay field. And I'm just going to come out here. This is just a few rows in. Yep, these flowers are alfalfa, and you can see the nice stems on it. What happens with hay is it sits out in the field. If you're having to rake it twice or 3 times to keep turning over those rows, you get what's called leaf shatter. Now here's your education on hay. Leaf shatter is when the leaves fall off of your hay. Look at all this beautiful purple. Yes, I can see the house too, Bethany. Leaf shatter is when all of your leaves are falling off of your stem and you are left with stem, and then that leaf is fine and it falls to the ground, it falls to your barn floor, and you are losing that nutritional value. Now in this area here, see a little bit of storms have come through here, the deer have come through here, and it's laying down. Standing up, it is much taller. Can you see how tall this hay is? It's coming right up to the top of my chest. There are other areas in this hay field that are much taller than this. So we are way overdue for a dry spell. We keep getting between 3 to 5 days of dry weather. And for us to do this large of a field, I believe he said this is 40 acres total between the 2 fields. We started with an original smaller, about 15 acres, and then we added all this that had used to been a bean and corn field. With animals, we wanted to have enough land to be able to grow our food ourselves. If you purchase hay, you know how expensive that can add up over the year. And if you get into a drought like we did a couple of years ago, the corn in this field did terrible. The hay does wonderful. With the animals, we're able to use natural fertilizer in our fields. We don't use any sprays or chemicals on the fields for weed control. It's just a nice thick crop. So last year we had let it go to seed so that it would get its own reseeding. Every year you get a little bit of that if you hold off a little bit on your harvesting of your hay. So we've done really well with developing this hay field. Now this is the third year that this hay field has been established, and way beyond behind me along that tree row is the first original field, and that one is now 5 years old. We have not had to reseed. Our hay has done wonderful. So let me just see if I can find some hay here that's a little bit taller to show you how the hay has been growing. So here you can see how tall some of this grass is. Now, those rains and those storms, that we've had lately are knocking some of the tall grass down. The alfalfa is keeping it from laying right down, and all that is just fine because with the sickle bar mower or with the swather, it just picks it right up. It's no problem at all. So we are going to fill our barn. This year we're going to do some square bales. For our customers, we're going to be doing round bales for our own livestock. Me personally, I really like the square bales for feeding the small animals. Round bales are really hard to manage. If you don't have a tractor with a 3-point on it, it's really hard to move that around the farm. Some people will put them into a loader and move them where they're needed. We have about 16 cattle, so we can fill those 2 round feeders and just let them alone for 4 or 5 days. So it works really well for that. The square bales, you get less waste because you can control how much they're actually eating, so you're not getting fat horses. And if you don't have round bale feeders, you have to sit there walking around and around in a circle while you get that hay off. And I've done that for 2 years with miscellaneous round bales that we've had. So here he comes again up behind me, going through the windrows to spread them all out. They're gonna be out in the sun. Today's kind of a cloudy, overcast day. So it'll have the rest of today for sitting out into the sun drying. He might let it dry a little bit tomorrow, but this would be ready to bale tomorrow afternoon. And we are going to be doing the round bales this time so that we can get our feed for our cattle, and they'll be all lined up. And then anything extra, we'll know that we have a supply for our cows so that we don't have a hay shortage going into the fall. If there ends up being a drought summer, then we have our supplies right from the first cutting, and with this many acres, that's not going to be a problem. So thanks for joining us out in our hayfield, everybody, and we'll see you next time. Remember to hit that like button and the little bell for notifications for when the next video goes up, and we'll see y'all next time. Bye.